The little girl vanished less than 10 minutes after her father told the black park ranger to stop following his family. A scream cut through the trees. Then another. People near the Yellowstone trail turned at once. A white woman ran out of the forest with mud on her hands and terror in her eyes. Her husband came behind her shouting their daughter's name so loudly that birds scattered from the pines. Ranger Caleb Brooks was the first one to reach them. He had warned the family twice not to leave the marked path. The trail was wet from morning rain. Fog sat low between the trees. The river was moving fast below the ridge. But the father had looked at Caleb's uniform and then at his face and said he did not need a lecture from him. Now that same man grabbed Caleb by the front of his jacket. "Find my daughter." Caleb stayed calm. "Where did you last see her?" The man's name was Ryan Whitaker. He was tall, red-faced, expensive hiking gear, expensive watch, the kind of man who believed every room should move around his panic. "She was right behind us." Caleb looked at the mother. "How old is she?" 8. "What was she wearing?" "Pink jacket, blue backpack, white shoes." Caleb immediately spoke into his radio. "Missing child near Northridge Trail. 8-year-old female, pink jacket, blue backpack. Request search team. Start grid now." Ryan stared at him. "Why are you talking on the radio?" "Go look for her." Caleb looked directly at him. "That is what I am doing." Ryan's eyes were wild. "No, you are standing here. You are wasting time." Caleb had handled panic before. He had handled bears, fires, lost hikers, drunk tourists, broken legs, sudden storms, but panic mixed with prejudice was different. It did not listen. It attacked the closest target. Caleb stepped past him and studied the ground. Small shoe prints, fresh. They moved away from the main trail toward a narrow deer path. Caleb crouched. "She came this way." Ryan snapped. "How do you know that?" "Because I know this park." Ryan looked around at the gathering crowd. "Or maybe you know because you were watching us." The words hit the air hard. The mother stopped crying for a second. Caleb slowly turned. "What did you say?" Ryan pointed at him. "You were behind us the whole time. You kept looking at my daughter." A few tourists went quiet. Someone lifted a phone. Caleb felt the old familiar coldness settle in his chest. He had worn the ranger uniform for 12 years. He had saved people from cliffs and freezing rivers. He had carried injured children on his back through miles of forests. But to some people, one frightened white man's accusation was enough to erase all of it. Caleb kept his voice steady. "Mr. Whitaker, your daughter is missing. Every second matters. If you want her alive, you need to stop accusing me and start answering questions." Ryan stepped closer. "Do not talk to me like that." The mother grabbed his arm. "Ryan, please." Caleb stood. "Did Lily have any medical condition?" The mother nodded quickly. "Asthma. She has an inhaler in her backpack." Caleb looked back at the deer path. That was good. If she still had the backpack, then she still had time. More rangers arrived within minutes. Caleb gave orders. The teams took the main trail. One team moved toward the river. Another checked the parking lot. Caleb followed the small prints into the trees. Behind him, Ryan shouted, "I want someone else leading this, not him." Caleb heard it. Everyone heard it. No one answered. The forest swallowed the noise. The deer path narrowed fast. Wet branches brushed Caleb's sleeves. The ground dropped sharply. A child could easily slip there. He found a broken twig, then a small mark in the mud, then a bright pink thread caught on a bush. He spoke into the radio. "I have possible clothing fiber, east of North Ridge." Moving deeper. The fog thickened. Caleb kept going. After 20 minutes he found the blue backpack. It lay open near a fallen log. His stomach tightened. He knelt and checked inside. Water bottle, granola bar, small stuffed rabbit, inhaler, still there. That was bad. Very bad. He radioed the location. Then he noticed something strange. The backpack strap was not torn. The mud around it showed 2 sets of tracks, one small, one larger, adult-sized. Caleb went still. This was no longer just a lost child. He followed the larger prints carefully. They moved away from the deer path toward an old service road closed for decades. Very few visitors knew it existed. Caleb knew because his father had worked this park before him. His father had mapped abandoned cabins, old ranger posts, forgotten trails, places the public never saw. The prints ended near tire marks. Fresh tire marks. Caleb's pulse changed. He radioed again. Possible abduction. Need law enforcement at Old Service Road. Tire tracks heading south. Static answered him first. Then a voice. Copy that. Caleb stood in silence. Somewhere in the forest, an 8-year-old girl was without her inhaler. And her father had just wasted precious time turning suspicion toward the only person reading the trail correctly. Back near the search command area, Ryan Whitaker was shouting at every ranger he could find. "He took her. He was following us. Check his truck. Check his cabin." Caleb returned, carrying the backpack in an evidence bag. The mother collapsed when she saw it. Ryan turned on him again. "Where is my daughter?" Caleb held the bag up. Her backpack was found near an old service road. There were idle tracks and fresh tire marks. Ryan's face changed for half a second. Not with grief. With recognition. Caleb saw it. It was tiny, almost hidden, but he saw it. What is on that service road, Mr. Whitaker? Ryan blinked. How would I know? Caleb stepped closer. You reacted like you knew. I do not know anything. The mother looked at her husband. Ryan. He snapped at her. I said I do not know. Caleb looked at the mother. Has anyone threatened your family recently? She hesitated. Ryan answered first. No. Caleb did not look away from her. Ma'am, has anyone threatened your family? Her lips trembled. There was a man at our hotel this morning. Ryan cursed under his breath. Caleb asked, what man? She wiped her tears. He argued with Ryan in the lobby. He said Ryan owed people money. Caleb looked at Ryan. Money. Ryan's face hardened. This is not about me. Caleb's voice stayed quiet. It may be about your daughter. The mother stared at Ryan in horror. What did you do? Ryan looked at the crowd. Not here. Caleb moved closer. Yes, here. Ryan finally broke. I invested with some people. It went bad. I was going to fix it. Caleb's radio crackled. Ranger Brooks. We have camera footage from South Service Gates. White van entering restricted road 40 minutes ago. Plate partially covered. Caleb closed his eyes for 1 second. 40 minutes. Lily had 40 minutes less air. He turned and started moving. Ryan shouted, I am coming. Caleb faced him. No, you are staying here. That is my daughter. Then you should have told the truth the first time. Ryan looked like he had been slapped. Caleb left with 2 law officers. They followed the service road through miles of thick forest. Rain began again. Light at first, then harder. The tire tracks stayed visible in the soft ground. Caleb moved quickly but carefully. Every sound mattered. Then they heard coughing. Faint, small. Caleb raised his hand. Everyone stopped. Another cough. From the left. He moved through the trees and saw an abandoned ranger cabin half hidden under branches. The door was cracked open. The white van was parked behind it under a tarp. Caleb signaled the officers. They moved in. A man burst from the cabin and ran toward the trees. Officers tackled him near the road. Caleb did not chase him. He ran inside. Lily was tied to a chair with duct tape around her wrists. Her face was pale. Her breathing was tight and frightening. Tears had dried on her cheeks. Caleb dropped to his knees. Lily, my name is Caleb. I am a park ranger. I am here to take you home. She coughed hard. My chest hurts. He gently removed the tape and lifted her. You are safe now. She shook her head weakly. My bunny. Caleb looked around and saw the stuffed rabbit in the corner. He grabbed it. Got him. For the first time Lily tried to smile. Outside the rain had become heavy. Caleb wrapped her in his jacket and carried her down the road to the medical team. Her breathing worsened on the way. She gasped and clutched his shirt. Caleb spoke softly. Stay with me, Lily. Breathe slow. Look at me. You are doing great. Her tiny hand gripped his uniform. Do not leave me. I will not. When they reached the ambulance, Ryan and his wife were already there. The mother ran forward, sobbing. Ryan stopped when he saw Caleb carrying his daughter alive. His face broke. Not from relief only, from shame. Lily reached for her mother but kept one hand on Caleb's sleeve. He found me, Mommy. The mother held her daughter and cried into her hair. Ryan stared at Caleb. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. Caleb stepped back. Paramedics worked on Lily immediately. They gave her oxygen. They treated the asthma attack. Slowly her breathing improved. The arrested man was identified as someone connected to Ryan's failed investment deal. He had planned to use Lily to force repayment. The whole truth came out fast. Ryan's lies, his fear, his instant accusation, his decision to blame Caleb instead of admitting what he knew. By evening the story had spread. Videos from the trail appeared online. The first video showed Ryan accusing Caleb. The second showed Caleb carrying Lily out of the forest alive. America watched both. People argued. Some defended Ryan as a scared father. Others said fear does not excuse racism. Caleb refused every interview. He went home that night exhausted. His cabin sat near the edge of the park. On the wall hung an old photograph of his father in a ranger uniform. Thomas Brooks had been one of the first black rangers in that region. He had faced insults, threats, suspicion, people refusing directions from him while lost in the wild. Caleb sat beneath the photograph and whispered, I understand now. His father used to say the forest does not care what people think of you. It only cares whether you know the way. The next morning, Ryan Whitaker came to the ranger station. Caleb almost did not meet him, but he did. Ryan stood near the desk, looking smaller than before. I came to apologize. Caleb waited. Ryan swallowed. I accused you because I was scared. Caleb shook his head. No. Ryan looked up. You accused me because I was black. You used fear as permission. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. You are right. Caleb remained silent. Ryan continued. I saw a black man near my family and decided that was enough. I almost cost my daughter her life. Caleb's expression softened only slightly. Your daughter survived because the team did its job. Because you did your job. Caleb looked at him. I did my job while you made it harder. Ryan lowered his head. I know. For a long moment neither man spoke. Then Ryan said, Lily wanted me to give you this. He placed the small stuffed rabbit on the desk. Caleb frowned. She said he helped her be brave. She wants you to keep him until she visits again. Caleb picked up the rabbit carefully. It was dirty, torn at one ear, still warm from a child's love. His anger did not disappear, but something inside him moved. Tell Lily I will keep him safe. Ryan nodded. Weeks later, Lily returned to Yellowstone with her mother. She ran into the ranger station and hugged Caleb's waist before anyone could stop her. Caleb laughed for the first time in days. She looked up at him. Did my bunny behave? He smiled. He gave me no trouble. Her mother thanked him again. Not loudly, not for cameras, just quietly. Honestly, Ryan did not come that day, but a letter did. Caleb read it after they left. Ryan wrote that he had entered counseling, that he had spoken publicly about what happened, that he had told the truth at his church, his company, his daughter's school. He wrote that apology meant nothing unless it changed behavior. He wrote that Lily had asked him why he blamed the man who saved her. He had no answer that did not shame him. At the end he wrote one sentence. I am trying to become the kind of father my daughter thought I already was. Caleb folded the letter and placed it in his desk. Months passed. The park changed with the seasons. Snow touched the mountains. Tourists came and went. The internet moved on. But inside the visitor center a new training program began for rangers and volunteers. It was about missing persons response, bias under pressure, how assumptions waste time, how fear can turn dangerous when it chooses the wrong target. Caleb led the first session. At the front of the room sat Lily's stuffed rabbit. He did not use it as a joke. He used it as a reminder. A child's life had almost been lost because an adult chose prejudice before truth. Caleb looked at the new rangers and spoke slowly. In the wild, every second matters. A wrong assumption can send a search team in the wrong direction. A careless accusation can steal time from someone who does not have any to spare. You are not here to protect your pride. You are here to protect lives. The room stayed quiet. Caleb looked toward the window. Beyond it, Yellowstone stretched wide and beautiful. Rivers, pines, mountains, steam rising from the earth like breath. His father had loved that view. Caleb touched the old ranger badge pinned to his chest. The same badge his father had once worn. That evening he walked alone along the North Ridge Trail. The place where it all began looked peaceful now. No shouting, no cameras, no panic, just wind moving through trees and sunlight fading behind the hills. Near the trail marker, someone had left a small note written in a child's careful handwriting. Thank you, Ranger Caleb. You found me when everyone was scared. Caleb stood there for a long time. Then he smiled, because in the end, he had not just found a missing child. He had found proof that truth could still cut through fear. He had found proof that dignity could stand even when suspicion tried to knock it down. And he had found proof that his father was right. The forest never cared what people assumed about him. It only cared that he knew the way.